So on this video, I'm going to show you how to draw a pyramid, a cone, and a cylinder in perspective. So I'm just going to kind of reuse the same form that I have there. Okay. You can tell again, I drew it as more of a square this time, and then went back to the vanishing point, and I tried to make the cube a little more squarish than I had done before on the other ones. And again, just because my pyramid and cone and all that will look a little more natural. Okay, so, and then you can see I drew the back part of it. See, there's the dashed lines. So I made sure I did that because I'm gonna need it. Okay, so first things first, you have to figure out which way you want the point on the pyramid pointing. Do you want it pointing up? Do you want it pointing to the side, to the bottom? Okay, again, you can have it kind of pointing whichever way you want to. I'm just going to do what I have in the examples on Canvas. I'm going to have the point somewhere over here. Okay. And the reason why we draw a box to do all these is that you put the box in perspective, and then you put the shape in, and you center the shape in the box, and then you can erase the box and the shape is there. Okay, so that's pretty much why. So if I'm going to have the point somewhere in here, I need to find the exact center of this top side of this cube. And so if you remember from maybe say a geometry class or, some other class, what you do to find the exact center is that you crisscross the corners, you make an X. So see, I'm going to draw one line there, and then now I'm going to line up the other corners. And there we go. So I'm having a hard time seeing around my phone here. So there we go. So that is the exact center. Okay, and then really what I do to make it into a pyramid is that I line up that little point, that exact center, and then here's the bottom plane of the pyramid. Okay, so pyramid has 4 corners, and so then I would line this up and I draw to all 4 corners, which really only 3 of them are visible. Okay, so there's the one on the back, but there we go. So there's the point, and there's the pyramid. Okay, so again, when you guys do this, you'd have to show me 2 examples of, pyramids. So you can put one over here, wherever. Okay, so I am going to erase some of this stuff because I'm just going to reuse this. And again, you guys won't be able to erase it. You'll have to do a new one. And I'm going to erase some of this. And again, the reason why is because rather than have to redraw this all over again. And then, also because it's a really similar technique that I'm going to now turn this into a cone. So again, when you draw your pyramid somewhere, do like we've been doing, outline. You basically just outline the pyramid and leave everything else in pencil. You'd outline the pyramid with ink. Okay, but again, just for the demo, I'm going to turn this into a cone. So it's pretty much the same step. I have to figure out which way I want the cone to point. So I'm going to stick with, again, what's on the examples. So I would crisscross the top part. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. And the bottom, it just kind of helps guide me to draw an ellipse in perspective. Okay. So I'm going to try to find the exact center here. And really, I'm trying to break this up into sections. So again, there's the corners. So again, that's more or less the center of the bottom. Okay, so I just want to break it up again one more time. So to break it up vertically, I'm going to align my vanishing point and the center, and then I just, do that bottom plane. You can see just through the bottom plane, I drew a line. And then to break it up the last time, what I'm doing is essentially, drawing a flat horizontal line. So I just put it there and I just try to get as flat as possible. So, or parallel with the horizon line and all that. Okay. So, originally when I made the X, I had an X, or, when I broke it up, I had an X. And then now when I broke it again, I sort of have like those little crosshairs or a plus sign, if you want to think of it that way. And so what's going to happen is that on the crosshair or the cross, the plus sign, right where it touches there, that's more or less where the ellipse will touch. Okay. And so you have to kind of distort this. So you're sort of drawing like a quarter circle each time. So again, really the idea is it gets really close, but it doesn't really touch. And then, yeah, the shape kind of, I'm freehanding this. And there's more steps involved if you wanted to really add more little sections. But usually if I draw this, and most students I've noticed, if you can just do this, you can sort of freehand the rest of it. And I feel like I didn't get this curve very well. Over there, and again now over here, same thing, like that's where it would touch, and I'm just trying to curve it. Okay, and again here, so I'm kind of following the distortion, but at the same time I'm trying to keep it like this smooth curve. Okay, and so then there we go, there's my ellipse in perspective. And so then to make it into a cone, I just kind of, I can line up my ruler with the point and then just kind of rotate it. And again, I'm just keeping it lined up with that point, and then the first spot I touch, or basically the furthest point on that ellipse is where I put my line. And same thing here, I'm just trying to align it with the furthest spot. So there's the vanishing point, or not the vanishing point, but the center point, and then the widest spot, which is about, right there. Okay, so there we go. So there's my cone. And so again, you would draw yours somewhere, and then this is what you would outline as really this curve and then these two lines. Just like with a pyramid, you would have outlined the two bottom parts and then the shape of the pyramid. Okay. So again, yours will have to outline and do two examples. But since I'm just doing the demo, I'm going to reuse this because again, I'm just trying to show you that part of it is to speed it up, but also the other part of it is just to show you that the steps are really similar. Okay, and it kind of helps reinforce everything. So again, to do a cylinder, I would draw a cube like I did here. And then, for the bottom, I would do what I did there. I try to find the exact center. I'd make an X, crisscross the corners. There's the center point. Then I line up that and the vanishing point and draw my line to divide it that way. And then to divide the bottom, again, a flat horizontal line, and then the actual ellipse will touch on the plus, not on the X. It'll touch those points. So then guess what you got to do for the top? Basically the exact same thing, okay? So again, I'd have to make an X, which I already have, and I'm just going to kind of redraw it. And it's just, again, crisscrossing the corners, and there we go. Okay, so then I line up to break it, sort of the vertical direction. I'm going to line this up with a vanishing point. Okay, and so there we go. There's one, and then to break it this way, or divide it again. See, I want it parallel to all my horizontal lines. So parallel to the horizon line is kind of the easiest way to think of it. So it's just a flat line. Okay. So again, there was an X, now there's a plus. So wherever the plus touches the edges, that's where your ellipse is going to be. Okay. And so again, try to draw your curve the best way you can. And really, these two should be straight, like a straight up vertical. Sometimes I have a hard time drawing it. Do the best you can. Again, this is should pretty much align with that. So there we go. Okay. And again, pretty much you should have these on the same, these should be like straight up and down. Okay, and so there we go, there's a cylinder. And so again, you would have to do two examples. So, here's one of mine. So if I was a student, I'd have to do another one. And then you just go over with ink anything that would be visible. So this is the part, the freehanding part that can be a little stressful, even for me. don't know if that's the best curve ever, but it's going to work. So just do the best you can on this one. That's sort of what I'm doing here. I went a little crooked there. That's okay. Close enough. Okay. So not necessarily the best cylinder. My tracing skills weren't as good on that one. But there you go. So again, you can look at the examples on Canvas, or of course keep jumping back on this particular video, but showed you how to do a pyramid. You know, again, you'll have to do 2 examples of a pyramid, outline them with ink. And then I erased mine, but again, you won't do that on yours. But then I did a cone. So you'll have to do 2 examples of a cone, outline the cone in ink. And then, again, I showed how to do a cylinder. And so you'll have to do that. Again, 2 examples of a cylinder and outline them with ink. And remember, you can combine things like here, I drew the projection. So if I wanted to, I could put a cylinder sitting on top of here. So then I have an example of projection, I have a cylinder, and then I have stacking also because it's sitting on top of the box. So again, more or less what I want you to do for the assignment is to try to draw everything on the same page. So you can have some stuff here, you can have some stuff above the horizon line, but you can combine things. You can kind of draw more than one thing on one of the boxes. And that's going to be it.